I hit up. So I had sent a DM to Maffio and said basically like, I know that you're not gonna read this, uh, but I want to make basically Dembo more international, um, and mix it with my French roots and having lived around the world. I wanted to like make an international Dembo, and then Maffio responded.
That it confused me so like it confused me so much. This white kid talking to me about Dembo Dominican. I'm like, what? What's going on here? Like, wait, hold on. Am I dreaming? Uh, it confused me so bad that I needed to go and peek on your Instagram. And I'm like, well, what is he talking about? So I'm scrolling to his Instagram, like, and I can't find nothing. Then I find like a little snippet of like 6 seconds of you performing live. And I was like, what? And I just heard the tone of voice, like the that tone of voice that caught my attention, and I was like, Calacote. I replied back. I was like, Calacote. That's what I said. From now on, I'm your fan. Here's my number. I think I got your number, and then I called you on FaceTime.
Yeah, it was I so like, I was literally walking like in downtown Miami, like listening to music, and I had this like DM conversation and had given Mafia my number, expecting him to like, expecting that he had asked for my number to text me, but then he FaceTimed me immediately. So like I like sent him, DM'd him my cell phone number, and got this FaceTime from a New York number, and it was Mafia, which like at the time that was like it was like this insane opportunity that I was not expecting. So it was nerve wracking, like talking to Mafia over FaceTime, and then we had dinner like an hour and a half after that, and now we're here today.
Alkatraks music group. I think it happened in the right time with the right people. Calacote being on the forefront of being the first artist to represent, you know, what that vision is, which is legacy, respect, and culture. Is going to be very important, not just to us, but also is going to be very important to the industry and those new talents that are out there that don't know where they come from, that don't know much about their culture. And is a company that's gonna it's gonna be more less controversy and more music. I think we're living in a world with all the social media that you need controversy in order for your songs to be hot or for someone to see your songs. Um, I've never been a fan of that. I think the music is very sacred, and we need to give people more music and less controversy. I think one of the big rules in Alcatraz, you cannot be involved in any kind of controversy because we're a team, and we're all looking for a legacy, a clean legacy, and I'm super blessed of having great people in the company. My partners, Leslie, Javi, and Jessica, are people that I've worked with for so many years, and that's important. When you find that right, the right team, the art in sync with your same values and your same goals and vision, the world is yours.
It's an honor. There's it comes with a lot of good pressure, I think. Being going from being this kind of random, independent artist that nobody knew about to working with, a really legendary producer, and not just that, but representing, his label and his company, and representing a vision is, it's a fantastic opportunity, and it's something that I'm really grateful for, and I think it's something that inspires me. Again, it's good pressure. It's pressure that inspires me to give everything that I can, to the music and writing and developing ideas. I try to be very thoughtful in songwriting and also in artistry. And I think that the inspiration behind that is because I'm working with somebody that has so many years of experience, um, and that has carved out already such a legacy. And I just want to be able to contribute to that, as best as possible. Over everything, I've learned that this industry is full of very normal people. I think as a fan uh, of Latin urban, like it seems very movie. Everybody has their cars and their clothes or whatever. But working with Mafio, really almost exclusively works with good people, and these are massive artists. I've learned that even though from the outside it may seem untouchable being in this world, everybody is a normal person. Nobody's an alien, and fortunately, everybody is really passionate about what they're doing, and Mafia kind of opened the door to this world for me, and like I said, thankfully, I've learned that it's a really good community to be a part of, especially when you're under the hands that I'm under.
I think there's a lot of factors. There's things that something that in the rap world where we call punchlines, and is basically lines of when people say that you pay attention. So the first punchline when he was trying to this white kid, trying to tell me about Dominican roots and stuff and whatever and the bow and all the Dominican movement. I'm like, that was a punchline right there because it caught my attention. It made me go into his Instagram. Then one of the punchlines was, the humble, and the great person he is, Calacote. Me personally, I look into people, the person in them, not the music. The music that's easy, but just the human nature of that person. That's the second punchline, and that's what caught me. The third is the punctuality. I'm obsessed with being punctual and being on time to every meeting. I've been like that since I was 16, 15 years old. I think people's time are very are important, and we have to be considerate of everybody's time. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be a Joe Schmo, but if you agreed and you gave your word to that person to be on time at 10, be there at 9:40. So I'm very big on that, and all those punchlines is what made me be like, okay, he's the one. Let's go. Vamos a prender la pámpara. Yeah, there's Spanish, there's English, and there's Dominican.
Pica pollo.
Pick up.
Pica pollo.
Well, he's from Santiago.
Sí, yo soy Popi. Like, I think understanding, like this, like we're making local references, like understanding these really insular local references in the DR is such an important part of my project, and I'm really grateful to be able to work with somebody that does understand it. Before being with Maffio, I was looking for people to work with that understood that, and I love obviously working with people from all parts of the world, but in my music and in the message that I want to communicate through it, there's such a fundamental layer of Dominicanism in it. In every song that I can think of that I have written, there's these hidden local references throughout. Whether I'm talking about being a Popi, or I'm talking about, like in AZAFATA, in the chorus, there's a line, "Ta dura así, pero por mi casa." It's a reference to a song by Musicólogo, Sujeto y Lápiz, who are like, super huge in the DR, very Dominican artists. And being able to work with somebody that catches those local references, and then in addition, like, culturally understands what the Dominican scene is, and what it's like, which is the scene that I grew up watching. Um, the tiraeras that came out of that, and just the minutia, the cultural precipitates that come from the DR are so important to me, and no, it's amazing to be able to work with somebody that understands that and that wants to foster that, that doesn't want to cut it out for the sake of being more commercial, I guess.
And I think it's very important to keep in mind and giving our culture, our Dominican culture, and our flag a good name. I think we have the responsibility to travel the world, everywhere in the world, and make sure that we promote our country and we tell the people that don't know about our country that there's so many great people in our country. There's so much culture. There's so much great food. The women are incredible. So, with all the respect of all the other cultures, but where you're born is where you love, the most.
Yeah, so there's so many things about the Dominican scene and the DR in general that I want my music to be kind of a machine to deliver that to an audience that isn't already familiar with it. And Maffio is absolutely fostering that.
Thank you. You are too.
In 5 years, I think I am going to be making music that continues to be authentically my own, but in a way that is much more developed and in a way that's much more refined. And I feel this now as an artist, like really almost every day. I can see myself developing as a songwriter, as a musician. I can see my tastes developing, and I think that the longer that I do this, hopefully the more prominent that's going to be, the more prominent that development's going to be. I think in 5 years, I'm going to be much more. I'm going to be able to kind of capture the message that I want to capture now, that I don't have all of the internal personal resources to do. And I think that the growth that's going to take place musically over the next few years is going to allow me to be able to speak something that I don't have the skill to speak right
now. I see Calacote, like he said, refining himself, making more sophisticated music, and and I'll be blessed, to be part of it. He inspires me a lot as far as the music is concerned. There's some times that you get uninspired in music, but there's this. Calacote made me create a whole label, just that one artist. But as far as me, I'm gonna be very hungry, like I've always been. I live music. I love music with the same passion. 5 years from now, I'm gonna stay with the same hunger. I have a lot of plans. There's a lot of plans in place. I want to help a lot. I want to help the kids a lot. I have a huge project that is like one of my biggest things that I'm doing with Akon, and is building the first sustainable school in the Caribbean, and art school, and it's going to be a school totally free for the kids, where they can stay out the streets, and we're in the developing process. I got Francisco Cervelli too, working on it. So eventually, when we create that first one in Dominican Republic, which is going to be in Las Cañitas, where I was born, eventually we're going to start branching out to Jamaica, possibly Haiti, and all those countries that really need that hope. Those kids that really need that hope to to blossom and be somebody in this world.
So AZAFATA was the first song that I ever made with Maffio, and it came about. So Maffio after we had met over FaceTime and we'd had dinner, he invited me to the studio the next time he was in Miami, and it was my first time in a real professional studio. So there was a lot of pressure, and I wanted to deliver in the best way possible. I came in the Subiéndome la escena como una azafata. I had that bar written, and I knew that I wanted to structure a song around it. I like the way it sounded. I like putting emphasis on the word azafata. Like phonemically, there was something really interesting about it. And the reference to Lapis came about. I was listening to that song on the way to the studio. So the chorus kind of put itself together in my head while Maffio was making the beat, and then the verses kind of flowed. I wanted it, it was my first song again that I made with Maffio, so I wanted it to be kind of an introduction to myself. So I wanted to throw Santiago in there. And that started the first verse, and it was super quick. I think literally we made the song in less than an hour.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
we're not exaggerating.
Truly, yeah. No, that sounds like something that I'm saying to seem
It
very,
was literally, let's
yeah.
make it a round number, 1 hour.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
It was so funny watching this kid, first time in the studio, with a producer. The studio's so big.
I felt so bad. They the engineer gave me coffee, went out to the main area of the studio, got coffee and brought it to me, and I felt so bad. I was like, you don't have to do this to me. You don't have to treat me like an artist.
But it was very fun to watch, and some kids, some artists, they'll get intimidated by and they'll be like, yo, send me the beat. I'll work on it in my house and then I'll come back and live with it. But, I think the pressure of executing a hit song, a smash, and you executed it, I threw the pressure on you and you took it very well. And that's very impressive.